I'm Sarah Ross-Thompson and I'm a collograph printmaker.
And do you work from photographs that you've taken, or do you just generally get inspired by the landscapes all around you?
It's a combination.
A bit of both.
So I will, more these days, I'll work from photographs or sketches. To be fair, I'd say it's more photographs, just because the amount of detail that I need is not that great. I can make a really interesting board with a few lines sketched on. I don't have to do a very detailed drawing beforehand, but by...
And obviously you've got your salt flakes there. What's the most unusual thing you've put on a board?
Well, when you were talking about the move to Scotland, I use porridge oats as one of my textures, and I now use a lot of lichen because they make the nice little trees. Onion skins, orange peel, lots of herbs. So on this one, I've got bits of bandage. I've got bits of anaglypta wallpaper from Homebase, and there's tissue on here that might have been sanded down, and then there can be bits of old card that get stuck on, and all of the rips, all of the little nuances and pits in here will actually ink up and will show up, so you get the texture of every single scrunch and tissue and tear. Intaglio printmaking, which is where you ink up all the little low parts, so you push ink into the block and clean the surface. And then you have relief printing, which is where you roll the surface, and anything that is low won't be part of the print, but anything that is high will be part of the print. So for me, I actually combine both processes, so I can ink up into all the little nooks and crannies of the fabrics, but I also will roll on the surface, so I actually combine both forms of printmaking, something like a wood block and an etching. I combine both. So I will ink up this one next for you because it's a very straightforward one plate. So I'm now going to use pointy finger. Pointy finger is where I start to work the ink into all the little nooks and crannies. The surface of the block has a texture, and it's either shiny where the glue is, or very, very textured where the card is. And by covering the entire block, I get a layer of ink on the surface, and I now start to take the ink off, and you can see where the shiny areas are. The ink doesn't want to stay on it, and the block begins to reveal what's actually on it. The magic fingers is the last stage, which is burnishing the surface. So I put the little piece of paper down and burnish the surface. I'm going to add a highlight around the moon. So it's quite a painterly process. It's quite, we're blending. Use a cotton bud to really get a white, and then I can get a highlight on the water by burnishing a little bit more firmly. So the paper can't be soaking wet, but it needs to be saturated. So we have the damp paper. Felt a little bit light. And then on this side, I leave the paper trapped in so that I can swap plates over. And I use the dirty bottom to line up the second plate. And I wind it back through. And we have